Hey guys, Big J here. Mate, pre-season's done, and today I'm going to show you my team that I'll be rocking with this year, at least for the first few weeks before we start doing trades and things like that. I've got a spicy one for you boys. Obviously, some people have already sent out their team reviews, and I'm sorry for taking so long. Life and things like that get in the way. I have made some changes like the Yo injury as well, so you won't be seeing him in my team, even though I had him in the pre-season team before. Anyways, hope you enjoy. Boy, it's been a big one. If you haven't already, check out our thank you video. It's really important to give back to you guys. You've been so supportive to us during the pre-season, with all your subscribers, but also views and jumping on the live stream and things like that as well. At the end of it, we talk a bit about our schedule that we've got going on, so it's definitely worth a watch. My team. It's been really tough this year. I was speaking to DR, so Supercoach with DR off air. And normally when I make my Supercoach team, I'll start off with something like guns and rookies. I'll look into it and start maximizing my benefits in my side while minimizing the threats and the bad things. Trying to get those small advantages, less rookies on field, for example, a couple of extra primos, some guys who are underpriced, that kind of thing. With the shift to value this year, and starting off last year, but with the shift to value this year, it's been really hard to do that. I look at my side and I'm like, mate, the advantages that I had, the things that were going to set me up for the year, such as having one less rookie, such as having, a couple of extra premiums in that forward line that other people would have to upgrade to, just aren't there this year. People, unlike yourselves, are getting so much more savvy with Supercoach. It's probably just coming down to us making a lot of content and things like that, As JD posted on Twitter the other day, there's so many more content creators now. It's fantastic, and I'm loving that you guys love the content. Here's my team. I'm going to go line by line just to kind of show you the thinking behind everything. We're going to start off with the backline. Something that I wanted to do this year was run 3 premiums in there. I kind of identified that the backline still is the weakest line in Supercoach. The rookies aren't fantastic, and some of them do have some real question marks. Guys like Constable or McKenna could be dropped or at least moved to the bench in the next couple of weeks, depending on who comes back into sides. So I've kind of stacked that position a little bit more than maybe some other people have. Obviously, the Yo rules have kind of come in now. The injury reports come in, and it's kind of led people to changing a lot of things in their team. It did for me. He was in my team, about to do the team review, and then had to move some things around. So here's my team. Starting from the back line, we have big Sam Doherty as D1. I think he's going to score something like a 115 plus every year. He's a decent enough vice captain option. Maybe not a set captain, but a decent enough vice captain option. He should be top 4 in that defense. Starting him off at 600k, he could do a lot worse. Now, next up, I've got someone who's really hurt me last year. Not owning him, owning someone like Crisp over him really, really sucked. This year is just not going to happen. So, starting off with Big Jordan Dawson. I think he's going to take a bit more attention, but I still think he's got the guts. He's versatile enough that, yes, he might get some attention on the wing, but can move half back, has moved closer to the forward line, and we all remember that game in the Derby where he kicked the goal after the siren. So, if he's going to do that, he should be good for 100 every week, and that's what we want. Next up is a bit of a speculative pick. Jordan Ridley. Maybe I'm jumping on the hype train a little bit, but valued at just over, he's basically valued at a 90. So if he scores a 95, he's going to be 550k, which I think he can do. But he did really well in the preseason. Brad Scott's come in and kind of shown what his role is going to be at that club. He's going to be the distributor of the halfback. He's going to be taking basically all of the kick-ins. Yes, things may change, but then we have trades to change those as well. Next up on our list is Big Liam Jones. Now, he's someone that I've been hot on and I have been talking about quite a lot in the preseason. And the Bulldogs game just cemented it for me. In my team review before, I'm not sure if I had him or not, but I've been blasting him all over Twitter, all over Discord, all over Facebook. The guy scored 65 and 70s before at Carlton, and now he looks hungry and ready to go. Yes, I've seen some teams that play him at D2, D3, which I think is too light, but for his price, there's some real options as well that I can go up or down to, depending on how he goes in the first couple of rounds. Corrective trades are really a thing with the boosts, and we can't be afraid to use them. That's why I picked Liam Jones. If he works out, I'm expecting a 70 to a 75. Upgrade him with the rookie to a premium. It's that simple. So that's why he's in the team. I think everyone's got this next player in their team. Helps if I can spell right. Okay. Helps if I can spell him right. So Ruben Jimby dominated the preseason game and just looks on fire. Looks to be playing that half-back mid role. Was alongside Yo. Now he might even cement that a little bit more for himself, which could add some real scoring. One of those few backline rookies that I think can actually do quite well for us. Next up, we have Constable, and we're just filling out rookies here. I'll go over some picks, but basically just waiting for team sheets and guys that I think will be doing really well. Constable taking kickouts in the back line for Gold Coast. Could get moved along with Powell when some other players come back, but we'll wait and see and take that as we go. Next up, we have Wilmot on there. Also just waiting for team sheets and things like that to come out. But, you know, speaking to DR, he looks like he's going to take that wing role at Brisbane. A little bit higher than McKenna, who I think maybe won't start round one. We'll wait and see tomorrow. Wilmot's my pick, and he's a lot cheaper too. On the bench, he just has to play, basically, and he'll start racking up cash. Last one on the list is Lockie Cowan. Now, he's actually been named on field, which is fantastic for us, taking that halfback role that was Zach Williams's. I thought Sincotta might actually take that role. It seemed like the way it was going, but Cowan's got it right now. I've got a big influence and a big feeling about round one rookies. Guys that play round one generally stick around for longer and will come back into a team if there's injuries and things like that and they've been dropped. So yeah, here's a pick for me. Let's start off with the midfield. Now, the midfield's been a bit contentious. Not as bad as my other lines this year, but the midfield's been kind of one of those things that's really, really shaped and changed a lot of teams. People have run 2 primos, people have run 3 or 4. Heck, I've even seen a couple of 5s. Mid-Pricer Madness has really hit this line in Supercoach this year, and it has for me a little bit. Luckily, I'm running with 3, so I'm pretty happy. Rory Laird's there first for me. I don't mind that he's going to drop 50, 60K. He's going to be pumping out big scores. Yes, the magic number is really important, but so are 120s and decent captain scores every week. I don't care that GWS has come in and said they're going to tag him. If they tag him, he's just going to go tag someone else. So it really doesn't matter too much for me. 1 bad score. So if he gets tagged now, his round 1 score is only in the system for 1 week. If he got tagged round 2 or round 3, it'd be in for multiple. So it really doesn't matter too much for me that way. Next up, we have Big Bont. So going to dominate that Dogs midfield. I think you're a bit silly if you don't have him. Yes, there are cheaper options like a Libba, but I think Bont's the one for me. Being able to lock in 2 of probably the highest scorers in the game this year is going to be really important because we're not going to be trading up, triple trades to bring these players in, which we may have to do. Oliver's another one who's probably going to, warrant a triple trade, maybe similar to a Neil. Just depends how much they drop in the first few weeks, but they'll be my first jump on upgrade targets as well. That is partly why I wanted to stack the back line a little bit more because it means I only have to fill 3 spots there as opposed to, 3 or 4, which I think is a really big difference. We only have a certain amount of cash gem to start with and to really deal with throughout the year. If we don't have it, if we spend it on 1 or 2 positions, we're really going to struggle in other areas. Next up, I think, not flavor of the month, that guy that could easily be an M8 in our team. He's only priced at a sub 90. He should be able to pop out a 110, which will get him up to 600K. So that's why we've got him in the side. He looks to be dominating that GWS midfield. They're congested possession player, so really good for us. Next up, we have Big Hopper. So I've seen some people go Setterfield. I don't mind the pick, but I just can't afford it. And I think there's some better options there. Hopper's coming in. Richmond love him. He's just been named in the guts right in the middle. So, can't do anything better than that. Next one up is one of my kind of 1%ers players. So should be taking kick-ins, should be going half-back at St Kilda. We'll be getting DPP pretty quickly. Only priced at, a 50 or a 60? Let's have a quick cheeky look. So priced at a 55. He should be able to make an 80, which will at least get him to 400 plus K, which means that we should be able to trade him with a rookie to a premium. So it's pretty good value there. There are other options like Warple and other players who I can swap him down to or swap him across to, depending how team sheets work out, depending on how his performance is in the first 3 or 4 weeks. Take it as we go, but he's my kind of pod-ish in the midfield. Next up, we have a GWS player, Ben Callahan. So some other people have actually picked different guys. For me, it's Callahan. Kingsley's come in and said the best players will play their positions. I think Callahan's probably 4th behind. So you've got Cornelio, Kelly, and now Tom Green. I think Callahan's at number 4. He should be in the second lot of rotations in the midfield and play wing when he's not in there. Really, really good young player. I spoke before about how picking these players are not just their gut feeling off the preseason games. We've heard about him the whole year. We've heard about him ready to break out, these kind of things. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Next up, we have Will Ashcroft in there. Similar to Callahan, Will Ashcroft's going to score 90 plus every week. You might even end up keeping him the whole year. He's going to play majority midfield, rotate through the forward line. Heck, imagine if this guy got DPP. We won't even need to trade him at all. Could be a perfect cover player for us. Sam Walsh, Matt Rowell 2.0. It's a no-brainer. I think 78% have him. The other 22% are pre-made teams that don't even care about Supercoach, or guys that have made teams to dodge his buy. So that's kind of the selection there. Mackenzie's up next. This pick's a little bit crazy for me at the moment. I'm thinking I might try and downgrade him and upgrade a couple of the other rookies to more expensive guys. I have a really big feeling about these round 1 playing players, especially when they're named on field. Mackenzie's named on the bench. He might get traded down for a Hollands, which will allow me to bring a Phillips and things like that in my team. We'll see tomorrow when the team sheets come out. If I do it, I'll speak about it in the live stream tomorrow, so don't worry about it. Next up, we have Baker, dominating, half wing role, half forward role at the Dogs. You saw the preseason game. He only needs to score a 60-70 to be worth the value there, so it's a no-brainer. Next up, we have Campbell Chesser. Has been touted for round 1, been spoken about him playing. Did some all right stuff in the preseason games, but as I said, round 1 rookies playing, really important. Guy that has had his injury worries, but when he plays, West Coast want him, which is a fantastic thing for his job security. I think they've got a role for him. They need to build up the kids. I hate that word, build up the kids, but they need to play the kids to give him some more experience because the players are aging there at the club. So if they don't, they're in a bit of a strife. I have Davey here at M12, or M11 really. I have Davey here, so has been debuted today, has been announced. He could be part of the swap that allows me to bring Hollands and Phillips in. We'll just wait and see. I really like the kid. I think he's going to be fantastic for us this year. The Bombers are going to love him. We saw in the preseason game that he's not, he's just not a forward. He'll actually run halfway up the field and do a lot of things. Now, this somewhat stacked and fuller midfield than other people have has really led me to do something crazy in the forward line. I'm going to show you guys that now and kind of my reasoning and thoughts behind that. There's not someone in there that a lot of people have, but heck, wait for the ruck line. That's going to trip you out. Starting off, we have Dunkley. I think that's basically a must-have for everybody. We've got Rosie, similar thing, and Big Taranto. Oh, it helps if I can spell it. So those 3 are the must-haves. We did have Cornelio in there, but the thing with Cornelio, because he's a higher price, he's priced at 100. If you think he's only going to score 100, then you're not going to lose anything out by not starting him. If he was someone like a Rosie who's priced at a 90, and you say, hey, maybe he can go a 105, 110, you're losing out almost 100K on not picking these players. Similar to the next player, I wanted to have Goulden in my team. Desperately wanted to have him in my team. I think he's going to be fantastic. I think he's going to score 100. But priced at 470 means, or almost 480, it means I'm only losing 70K by not starting him. If I think he's going to score 100, he might have a couple of games where he scores a 110. That's okay. I'm taking that hit because I upgraded Yo to Dawson. In saying that, I brought in someone who I think can out-average his price quite a lot. Only needs to do so for the first 5 or 6 games and looks to be really healthy. Kicks goals, does really well for us. That is big. Nat Fife coming in at my F4 position. Yeah, I'm really happy with this pick. His run early is really good and plays a lot of teams like North Melbourne who just can't stop him. If he plays, third tall, who are we going to play at him? Some midfielder or some small, medium defender? Like, come on, guys. He's been kicking 3 and 4 goals in the preseason games. We only need him to score, what? Fife is priced at a 57. So he's only got to score at 80, basically, to actually start making us real cash. And that's what we're going to look for him. I think he can do it. I think he can score really well. If he doesn't, we can move some players around and then bring in someone else. It's not the end of the world. I think the next player for everyone, the Tanner Bruin, doing really well, taking over the Geelong midfield. If he doesn't work out, there's some players we can move him around to. We can do some fiddling, bring in someone like a Warple in the middle or a Dom Sheed or, heck, half a dozen other players that can still fit that mid-pricer price. If not, we just downgrade him to the best rookie, bank the cash, upgrade somewhere else and keep going. I've got Flanders at F7 or F6. I think he's going to do really well, similar to a Callahan. People talked about him in the preseason, which is really important for me. If people didn't talk about him, he came out dominated. Even with Took missing, I'd be like, hey, watch out. The fact that he came out and did really well solidified him in my team. He doesn't have to play majority mid-time to score either. Can kick goals, can run with the ball. He's someone that they're really looking for. I think the loss of Rankin, not that they're going to play the same role, but I think the loss of Rankin's kind of hurt them a little bit. What can you do? I have Sturt on the bench and Green, 2 guys who I think did really well, who are going to be looking to play a lot of time in their best 22s for their respective teams. I think they're locks for me. In the midfield, this is kind of the spot that I think is a bit contentious. There's been some information that's come out, and I think it's going to be really good. Trying to save some money, things like that, and see how we go. So I've gone, you can laugh at me, I've gone Radigalia there, I've gone, helps if I know how to spell his name, I've gone McAndrew there, I've gone Madden. So I've got 876k left in the bank. I really feel like that money is going to help me go in and get some upgrades in my team early. Madden and Radigalia and McAndrew should be able to play early. Madden's the best loophole in the game. Can Ruck swap with everybody, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be fantastic. Well, that's my team reveal. Thanks for joining this, joining the channel. I think that's been amazing. Come on, Big J. Come on, Big J. What are you guys going to start laughing at me and think, oh, this guy's gone nuts? Well, I haven't. We'll wait and see. No McAndrew, no Radigalia. Madden, I think, is the same R3 for everybody. The other 2, people have spoken a little bit about wanting to run a playing player in the position. Last year, we could do that with Bruce, but I really don't think there's anyone up to standard who could do that position for us. If there was, there'd be some real talk about it. Radigalia, I think, is only good for a 30, 40, 50. So he's not kind of warranted there over a rookie. The captaincy score, being able to lock that in every week is really important. So that's kind of what I've done. I am going to be running Jared Witts. Best ruckman, I think, overall. Does have a really good run early, which is going to be fantastic for owners. Playing some real duds. I think he's playing Laddam's first round. Like, come on. If it doesn't work out, though, the best thing about it, if it doesn't work out, I can upgrade to basically anyone. Barring Gawn, he's the next priced player. Gawn will be getting in our forward line at some point pretty early. So, not having Goulden on the bench, on the field kind of helps that as well. But the versatility of being able to swap to anyone is really, really important this year. Last year, a lot of people had to triple trade to get Wits in late, downgrading Gawn, trying to do fluffy things. I'm like, just pick the best player you can. In saying that, Ross Lyon has come out today and said Rowan Marshall is going to play a lot of forward time. He's going to be swapping with Campbell, who should be playing the first 5 or 6 weeks because Membry, because King, because a lot of the other forwards are out. In saying that, I would love for Marshall to get forward DPP, but as no longer the solo ruckman, I just can't play him. Yes, the player brought in isn't a solo ruckman either, but does have the monster scores in him that we want and will be majority ruckman at his club. He has a pretty easy run. The team's got a pretty easy run early. That's why I've picked Big Sean Darcy. Now, you might laugh at me, as I said with the ruck before, but it's something different. I think this year we need to be different. If Marshall comes out and he's fine for the first 3 weeks and dominates, I can swap Darcy to him. It doesn't matter. Everyone will be spending picks early. But having people having to jump off Marshall because he sucks, they'll have to change their whole structure to bring these players in. I won't have to. So better to have the money, and then be able to downgrade. It works out. That's my team, guys. Saving my team. Now, coming team sheets tomorrow. We'll wait and see. I want to bring Phillips and Hollins in. The way I can do that is by offloading McKenzie, I think a Davey and a Green or a Sturt, bringing in Caminoliti, who's massive fan of the channel if he gets debuted, hopefully. Fingers crossed, buddy. McKenzie and Davey, I think, can downgrade for those two. I really love those kind of players, and Hawks, mate. Hawks midfielders, I'm just not set on them. So we'll wait and see what happens, but that will probably be my only trade this week, or my only swap during the preseason, kind of as team sheets come out. Hey guys, really wanted to say thanks. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for talking to us in the chat. Thanks for leaving comments and likes. Thanks for jumping on the live stream and kind of supporting us as much as you have. We couldn't have done it without you guys. Check out Joe's team. It should be dropping now. Looks really good. Similar to mine, but a lot of changes in there as well. We've got our Supercoach group that will be running throughout the year. Hey, you guys can win some amazing prizes. And it's a lot of fun. The banter's going to be fantastic. Remember to like, share, subscribe if you love the content. And we'll see you back here 5:30 tomorrow for the team sheets. Have a good one. Remember, at the centre bounce, we do the hard work so you don't have to. Bye for now.